It is 11 o'clock. Welcome back in. It is National Taco Day. What a better place to spend it than right here at Social Taco in Homewood. It's always a festival when Landrum and I are here. Come on by and see us.
It is.
Yeah. Doors are officially open. We've already got some Jocks listeners up here getting their seats established, but we've always got room for you. Come on by and see us. We'll be here until 2 o'clock.
Yeah, you can check out the menu, socialtaco.bar, and it's not just while we're on the air for lunch here, but enjoy the half-off happy hour, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday. You can enjoy it out on the patio, and the weather's nice, or come inside. Come upstairs here to the Taco Terrace. And weekends, you got brunch. You got the Bottomless Tapas brunch, Saturday from 10 to 2:30. Sunday, 10 to 2:30. There's no excuse. Get into Social Taco. You're going to be glad you did.
So the Jags beat the Chiefs last night, Monday Night Football. That was quite a game.
Ooh.
Jags win at 31-28. It was a stunning comeback win against the Chiefs. Kansas City jumped up early to a 14-0 lead, and then the Jags were able to put themselves into position. But, man, when Trevor Lawrence tripped off the snap on the 1-yard line, then he got up and he stumbled into the end zone. It was amazing as Jacksonville, for the first time, I believe, since, 2007? They're 4-1? Something like that. Chiefs are 2-3 on the year. Trevor Lawrence, 221 passing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. He did have 1 interception. But that crazy play at the goal line, when he tried to use his big old frame to stick the ball over and it got knocked out of his hands, that could not have been any closer to him breaking the plane of the goal. That was just unbelievable. Patrick Mahomes, he threw for 318, ran for 60 yards, 2 total touchdowns. Taylor Swift's fiance, he scored a touchdown. And how about Jags' Devin Lloyd's 99-yard pick six? So there was a lot of stuff going on around that goal line last night, but that was pretty amazing. And if you just think about the NFL for a second. So here we go. We've played 5 weeks of the NFL season. 17 games this season. The go-ahead score has been scored in the final minute of regulation.
Oh.
17 games have been decided in the last minute of regulation. That is the most in the NFL through 5 weeks since the 1970 merger with the AFL.
Our buddy Brian Edwards is going to age like 30 years by the end of the season. That
My
keeps
goodness. It's amazing. Jags went off as a 3.5-point underdog.
Yep.
And so needless to say, when he tripped, my heart skipped a bunch of beats. But then when he got to his feet and got into the end zone,
Yep.
I'm like, we're good. Thank you.
How about Patrick Mahomes only 1 passing touchdown last night? What's going on with the Chiefs? Are the Chiefs going to make the playoffs? Are we giving up on the Chiefs?
2-3. I think the Jags are good.
I do too. Travis Hunter had a couple of tackles last night on the defensive side.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you have, 6 catches? Something like that on offense?
One of the
didn't
catches
score.
he made was really impressive.
So what do you think? Do you think the Jags are for real, or you think this is just paper tiger right now, 4-1?
No, I mean I think they're pretty good. And plus, right now, you look at their division. And you're kind of, are you going to bank on the Jaguars or Daniel Jones to keep being good for the Colts? So I mean, yeah, I think they have as good a shot as anyone. I mean, they have the most turnovers, or their defense has created the most turnovers in the NFL with 14. I mean, they had 9 turnovers all of last year. They have 14 in 5 games. I think they're going to be pretty good.
Last night, the Major League Baseball playoffs, the National League last night. The Dodgers over the Phillies 4-3. L.A. now leads that series 2-0. The Brewers came from behind. They knocked off the Cubs 7-3. So Milwaukee leads that series.
Cubs are done.
2-0.
Cubs are done.
Today, we've got American League action. Molly's Detroit Tigers, they'll be hosting the Seattle Mariners. That is a 3:08 first pitch. And then at 7:08 tonight, the New York Yankees down 2 games to the team from Canada known as the Blue Jays. Cannot believe that Conrad's Yankees are going to allow a Canadian team to come down and sweep them and go on to the American League Championship
How did your
Series.
baby face Max Fried fare in his last outing?
Oh, I guess he's ignoring us now.
Maybe so.
Huh.
I don't think it was good.
No. That's a 7:08 first pitch tonight between the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees. Yankees 50-31 at home this year at Yankee Stadium. So,
Blue Jays and Dodgers, that's my prediction. right now.
Think so?
Mm-hmm. I don't want to. I found myself kind of pulling for the Phillies. I loathe the Dodgers that much. Just looking at Freddie smiling.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, the Dodgers, their backs were against the wall. Some pretty good defensive plays in that ninth inning last night.
Well, let's talk about the renewal of the Deep South's oldest rivalry, and I'm talking about Auburn and Georgia. It will be the 130th meeting, and a man that has covered all 130, Mike Griffith, joins us next.
It's the pressure washer
on
game.
Three-man front. Yes, it is the pressure washer game. Mike,
yeah.
Hope you're well.
I'm doing great, guys. You know, it's funny you should say that because that was my thought. You know, somebody was telling me they were going to go to Jordan-Hare Stadium for the first time, and they asked me about it, and I said, well, it's really a beautiful stadium on the inside. You know, I just thought, you know, surely somebody said something to somebody there about need to be pressure washing.
Mike, that's why they moved next year's home opener to Mercedes-Benz to give the crew time to finish the power washing or pressure washing, whatever you prefer.
That's actually a really good idea because they're going to get some NIL money out of that, right?
Yeah, supposedly maybe $4 to $5 million, depending on how it works out.
You think Kirby would be on board for that because he loves his home games?
I mean, they've been playing their best game of the year in Jacksonville every year, so I don't know about that. But that's like 4 Caleb Downs or maybe 3 Caleb Downs in the Julian saying, right?
You just have to bring their names up, don't you?
He does.
About $1 million. No, I mean, think about it. If you can make that kind of extra money, Georgia's got Carson Beck down there as a co-Heisman favorite and Damon Wilson leading the league in pressures over at Missouri. I mean, that's difference-making money to give up that game. That makes a lot of sense to do that, unless the Auburn fans want to pay more money for tickets or, you know, increase their donations. I mean, that's what it comes down to, you know, because I talked to the Georgia AD about that Florida game, you know, because for the next couple of years after this year, they're going to go Atlanta and Tampa while that Jacksonville, that new $4 billion, whatever, $2 billion stadium of the future gets built down there. And there was some talk about playing a home and home. And I know, you know, Kirby wanted that and Chris Doring endorsed it. But, you know, Atlanta and Tampa stepped up with so much money. They said, hey, no, we can't. You know, and I said to the AD, I said, man, think about how great it would be to play home and home between the hedges and at the swamp. And he said, you're talking about millions of dollars. I mean, that's like people's jobs. You know, think about the jobs that pay, and you're like, wow, you know, you put it like that, you know, and that's people's jobs are some really expensive cars those players need. My God, they got to have a Lamborghini to drive to school. That's
tough
a
times.
jet trip to see the girlfriend right there for a few, you know. No, it is what it is, man. Money matters. It's a money sport, and I think that's pretty creative. My question is, does the league office get involved and say, wait a minute, that's an unfair advantage. You've got to do that for all the SEC schools. You can't just be giving certain schools certain favors, or maybe you can. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Well, you know, I think one thing, and we all know Gary Stokan personally. I think Gary is an incredible individual, and he's so smart, and what they've been able to do in Atlanta, it's just been fantastic. So hats off to Gary to bring that to the table, and I'm sure Gary would be more than happy to put more SEC teams in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You know, if they want to make a whole weekend or make it a week 0 and then come back on week 1 and do the same thing. So I think it's great. I don't think anybody's going to stand in the way of these kids now making any kind of money.
You know, you could do that. You could do like the SEC invitation. You could have
Absolutely.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
What? 2 games every day? 2,
Yep.
4, 6, 8. Yeah, have the whole team. Yeah. There you go. I mean,
that'd be big. All right, so let's talk about this.
Or better yet, how about the SEC Big Ten Invitational, where you play half the games in Mercedes-Benz and half the games in Indianapolis
Lucas.
or Ford Field?
As long as we get Kirk Cignetti and Brett Bielema in Atlanta, then I'm good with that.
There you go.
All right, let's talk about this matchup coming up this weekend. Georgia righted the ship against the Kentucky Wildcats. What did you see in the game that gave you some positive momentum as you're heading into Jordan-Hare Stadium coming up Saturday night?
Well, you know, that was the first game against a Power 4 team that Georgia has led at the half since last year's Texas game.
That is crazy.
8 games in a row. they had been tied or trailed at halftime against a Power 4 team, SEC, Notre Dame, whomever. So slow starts have been an issue for Kirby Smart. I can't explain that. I don't understand that. But, I mean, that's really amazing to either be tied or trail at halftime with 8 straight Power 4 games and yet still managed to win an SEC championship in there, right? So the fact that they got out to a 14-0 start, took a page out of Kalen DeVore's playbook, hey, wow, we really can score on the open. You can score twice in a row. It's okay to do that. That's kind of what Alabama did to you. And then Alabama, couldn't score a point in the second half or didn't, whatever. But the fact of the matter is it was a good formula for success and it enabled Georgia to get some other players in the game and, beat Kentucky by 3 touchdowns, which, everybody should these days. They're pretty awful.
Mike, with this weekend's game at Jordan-Hare, currently the Vegas line, Georgia favored by 3.5, depends on where you look. That's the smallest that I can remember in recent memory. How does this game set up to you when you look at everything that's gone on at Auburn in the first part of the season and where Georgia's trending?
Yeah, Auburn's got a really nice road win at Baylor and then a couple of tough road losses against great competition. I know you guys have talked about that, but it kind of looks like a strength on strength, weakness on weakness matchup, right? So I think Auburn's pretty good against the run defensively, and that's what Georgia does really well. And I think Auburn's offensive line and pass protection has been pretty miserable, and Georgia has not rushed the passer well. So it's going to be kind of a strength on strength, weakness on weakness, meeting of the minds. Kirby Smart, Hugh Freeze. Hughes played Kirby well. He beat him in Ole Miss pretty good in year 1 for Kirby. And, I mean, just 2 years ago when Georgia had Brock Bowers, I think he caught maybe about 152 yards worth of passes, and they needed to score with 2.5 minutes left to win. And I would say, you would know better than I, but I would say this is a better Auburn team than 2 years ago, and probably not as good a Georgia team. So I think it's a pretty small margin.
Overall, when you look at the SEC, it's a very small sample size, Mike, obviously. But when you look around the league, with Georgia going to Tennessee, then playing Alabama, now they're going to get to see Auburn this weekend. Do you feel that this league is more competitive this year than maybe the last couple of years, or you think it's still top-heavy?
Yeah, it's been a minute since it's been, too top-heavy. I mean, there's a lot of depth. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens when Alabama goes to Missouri, right? I mean, that's kind of an intriguing game to me. We'll see what happens when Florida goes to Texas A&M. That's an intriguing game to me. Georgia at Auburn, I think that's a toss-up. And, hey, I'm going to keep my eye on Arkansas at Tennessee. I'll tell you that. Bobby Petrino, he can dial them up, and that'll be interesting as well. So I think the depth is incredible. I mean, look what it's done to Texas. I mean, Texas has fallen from number 1 out of the rankings in 5 weeks. That's like a record. No other team has plummeted that quickly, and yet they played the number 1 team in the nation within 7 on the road. So, what do you make of that? I mean, we talk about how good Alabama is, and they got thumped by Florida State, who Miami just absolutely dominated. I mean, that final score wasn't indicative of the domination in that game. So, who knows? I mean, I think this is just where college football's at. I think there's a lot of parity all over, but especially in the SEC, even with Mississippi State, the floodgates open a little bit there at A&M. I still think Mississippi State's a pretty good football team.
If you were going to write off one of those top teams, Texas would have been up there before the start of the season. Georgia, Alabama, LSU, maybe Ole Miss. Would Texas be that team for you, Mike, that you go ahead and see right now with what you've seen? Yes, elite defense, but Arch Manning at quarterback. Have you written them off when it comes to the conference title game and another appearance in Atlanta?
No chance. No. I mean, look, Florida looked pretty miserable with DJ Lagway throwing 5 interceptions when they lost by 10 to LSU, and they looked bad losing to South Florida, right? So, I mean, things can change quickly. Texas is a team with a lot of new players. We know their offensive line was rebuilding. I mean, maybe Sark finds something. They still have a very friendly schedule. I mean, if you take a look at their schedule right now and read it out loud, they're all extremely winnable games until they play Georgia again. And who knows what Georgia's going to do? I mean, Georgia was only up I mean, Austin P and FCS school was 1 yard away from coming within a touchdown of Georgia in the fourth quarter in week 2. So I just don't think that the teams are that spread out. And I think this is going to be a nice separation Saturday for us.
I think you're absolutely right. The way this league has looked early on, it looks like that on any given Saturday. I know it's a cliche, but it seems like there's a lot of teams that are really, really good, and there are a lot of really good players spread out around the conference. So if you don't have your head screwed on straight each week, you're going to have a potential problem on your hands. Speaking of problems on their hands, do you think now that Texas, after taking that loss at Florida and the continued – I guess the national attention on Arch Manning and now the Red River rivalry coming up this weekend. Another loss to Steve Sarkisian. I don't know. What do you think the Texas folk will be saying about the Longhorns, especially with the easy type schedule that has not worked in their favor this year?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's Oklahoma without John Mateer, right? So it's a backup quarterback playing. I don't think Mateer's playing. Is he? I haven't heard it.
There's a report this morning that indicated that he might have practiced yesterday, and he is doing everything in his power to potentially be able to play on Saturday.
Yeah, I heard somebody at Chipotle said something like that. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, you never so much scuttlebutt. I do wonder about that. I mean, Sarkisian is well paid. But you can't deny the progress that they've made and how they've gotten better each of the last 3 years. The program's been headed in the right direction, and part of it's landing these guys and landing elite players, that want to play for someone like Sark that, really the architect of that 2020 Alabama National Championship team, as I recall, when we think about Mac Jones and what they were able to do that year, coming from behind to beat Stetson Bennett at home. Remember that? Georgia actually led them at halftime with Stetson Bennett, Tuscaloosa. Go figure. So, I think Sark's a pretty accomplished coach, and I don't know who you'd want to hire that could do. I think it's a bump in the road. I think we write it off to, Arch Manning and an overhauled line against, they've lost to 2 pretty good teams. I mean, Ohio State's number 1 in the country, and Florida's no joke in the swamp. I mean, ask Lane Kiffin. I mean, they beat Ole Miss last year, pretty much knocked them out of the playoff in the swamp.
They sure did. Well, Mike, I know the weather is about to get cooler across the Deep South, and it would be a perfect opportunity for folks to take a look at your property down there in Gulf Shores, Alabama, just like I did. And, of course, it was about 137 degrees when I was down there, so it's a little bit nicer down there this time of the year. Yeah,
they say October's a nice month down there in Gulf Shores, and yeah, I appreciate you bringing it up. Yeah, if they go to the Instagram, Gulf Shores Getaway AL, Gulf Shores Getaway AL. I think I can't spell it all out, but you can say it. You can read it. Gulf Shores
we
Getaway
got it. We got it right here. We got a pretty picture of the beach. It looks nice.
I think we got a special on there right now. What is it marked off as? Like 30%
What's it marked off?
now?
Right now, on one of your promos, it says "Fall at the beach now booking, fewer crowds, stunning sunsets, cooler evenings on the deck, lower off-season rates." That's what it says there.
Yeah, I'll say 30% off, and if you go down there, it'll help Alabama win football games.
Okay.
30%, wow.
It's good karma.
What if they're an Auburn fan?
Wow, 30% off.
Well, yeah, 30%.
It's amazing how everybody gets these better deals than I got.
Well,
it's amazing.
You win in peak season, Pat. Come on,
Alabama. Yeah, so it's a nice place. No, seriously,
it's gorgeous. I'm not. It's not just a line. I mean, it's my family had just a fantastic.
Pat's very bougie, so if he said it was nice, then it was nice.
No, as Landrum knows, I'm a hotel snob.
He is.
And I promise you, if it was not good, I would sit here and be quiet and let Mike say whatever he wants to say. And
he brings his own towels to hotels. He's so particular about thread count.
Well, that's probably not a bad idea anywhere you go.
No, it's probably not.
It's just a great weekend for college football. I mean, it was great last weekend. I'm leaving the stadium. Now, I couldn't get to a TV, but I just love listening. I love sports radio. Love sports radio. I know the people listening love sports radio too, obviously. And, I mean, I'm just enjoying listening to UCLA Penn State on the radio.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to imagine this scenario, and then I see the highlights later, and the radio call was better. It was fantastic, though. Going live to UCLA beating Penn State, how exciting that was. And then Alabama Vanderbilt, the excitement there was the betting line, right? We got the show we do on Dog Nation, Go With The Flow, and where we pick against